continue to do that. That's okay. We're going to do this again. Sing any pitch that you want. So try to sing a different pitch to everybody else. But I want to introduce a variation this time, because as you sing, I want you to change the shape of your mouth. So you start, like that. Let's try again. So breathe in. Any pitch you want. After 3, breathe, 2, 3. Your faces are wonderful. Okay. Now we're going to do it once more. This is the last time. I want you to, first of all, you're going to do this on 2 breaths. So we sing 2 sounds. Now, everybody's lungs are different sizes. So some of you who smoke too much will run out of breath before others. That's okay, that's good. The first time you sing, you choose any note. Choose a pitch that you don't hear. When you run out of breath and you breathe in again, I want you to then choose a pitch that you do hear. So you're listening for the other pitches around you the first time, and the second time you're choosing a pitch that you've heard being sung elsewhere in the room. This should, well, let's see what happens. Okay? So, after 3. 1, 2, 3. It's interesting, we still settled on the final pitch. We still settled on the same pitch that we started with. That's obviously the fundamental tone of this group of people. How do you feel? How do you feel doing that kind of thing? Weird. You feel weird? It's not the kind of thing you often get to do in a conference. I could spend the next half an hour doing this kind of thing and doing all sorts of different experiments with you, but I really need to talk about e-learning. But what I think is interesting is, I think there's something special when we come together. And I think this is probably why we keep on doing it. This is probably why we still have classrooms, we still have somebody at the front, we still, and we know that our kids like to be together. And being together is very special. There's clearly something special going on here. And my question is, to what extent can technology support that togetherness? Because this is not Facebook, this is not Twitter, this is something with a different quality. And I want to suggest some of the things that are happening in technology which might help us address some of these issues about being together. What I think is most important, I think this is great, what I think is most important is that education is meaningful. And if you think about the meaningful experiences that you've had in your education, my blessing is those experiences have occurred in physical proximity to other people, to other teachers, to professors, to other students, that there is something that happens between us when we are physically together. And we are tempted to forget this. our technologies, the drive for e-learning tends to lead us to think that we can do education online, people can learn on Facebook, they can do all sorts of things. Clearly, I'm not saying there isn't something important happening there, but it's not the whole story. And we need to think about the richer experiences that we have when we're in places like this. So I'm going to say the classroom is a place where listening can happen. What are the components? Well, first of all, we have spaces. These spaces. It's a kind of technology, actually. It's a space designed to amplify me, with this particularly, and for you to all sit and be able to hear me. You've even got desks, and you can get your laptops out, and you can write. Really remarkable technology. So we have spaces. We also, if we sat here and didn't know what each other was doing, we'd all sort of get a bit bored and confused. So we need some kind of activity. We need some sort of thing that we do together. We're all going to learn maths. We're all going to do music. We're all going to... These are the activities that we engage ourselves in. But this is very important because in order to decide that we're all going to do whatever it is we're all going to do, there needs to be some form of organisation. There needs to be some way of organising that situation in the classroom. So we have spaces, activities, and organisation. And between them, we have technologies. Now, I put a little advert there for the iTech project, which is a project that I'm involved in. And the reason why it's there is because this is precisely what the iTech project is trying to explore. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what iTech is trying to do. It's actually trying to do something incredibly difficult. It's trying to think about the classroom of the future. Now, if you were slightly cynical, you might think the classroom of the future may very well be like the classroom of the past, because there are many aspects of the classroom which haven't changed. iTech is trying to see how technology might change the classroom of the future. How might it change the spaces we learn in? How might it change the activities we engage in? And how might it change the way we organise those activities in those spaces? Well, just move the this thing out of the way. If I can. Oops. Now, in terms of technology and spaces, we have two kinds of spaces, really. We have spaces that we share. We have a theatre. In fact, this is the theatre here in Eisenstadt in the Esterhazy Palace. And there's a music festival, a different kind of space. But these are spaces where people have shared experiences. And on the other side, I can see some of you already in these spaces, in individual spaces, personal spaces. And although we say that these are social technologies, they're not social in the same way that we're being social now. They're social in a different way. We sign up for our individual user accounts, we stare at our individual devices, and if any of you have tried to use some of these tools like Twitter or Facebook or Google in the classroom, that individualization can be a problem. Has anybody tried to use Google in the classroom or Facebook? Yeah, one or two of you. But it can be difficult to ensure that all the children have got accounts, all the children have signed into the right service, and all the rest of it. Those are big organizational problems, let alone all the other difficulties with using Facebook. So I think personal spaces are something different. much of our current technology is situated in this area. We have very little over here, apart from things like this, microphones. Oop. Is that the right slide? Sorry. Okay. There are things that are changing with regard to technology and spaces. There's been a huge growth in the last 2 years in real-time gaming, which is streamed over the internet. This is just things like World of Warcraft, although I'll show you something about that in a minute. But this is increasingly services like online. I don't know if has anybody come across online? Has anybody's kids come across online? Online is basically Spotify. You know about Spotify, streaming music. It streams games. Quite remarkable when you see the technology. And what's remarkable about it is the speed at which it operates. Because the interactions as I'm playing the game are being carried over the internet to the servers, and it is being fed back instantly to my computer in updating the screen, in updating what it is that I'm doing, so that it feels as if the machine that I'm using is actually in front of me. This is remarkable technology. The web is getting faster, it's getting more real time. This will change everything. One of the things that we know about technology is that faster isn't just faster, it's different. Faster is different. One of the companies that is currently and very aggressively promoting these kind of real-time gaming systems in schools is a company called Steam. And if I can just plug in my sound here, you can hear this is a teacher using Steam to teach about gases, and he's using the Steam engine, the Steam game engine, to actually teach this content. So there it is. Students are able to just look at this content. It's far more interesting than the typical VA that we're used to. I won't play it all the way through.
A small container, a small room filled with particles that are acting like molecules. Because gas law says that PV equals nRT, where P is pressure.
But just to point out that the technologies that sit behind that are the epitome of this real-time, very fast interaction that the web is now affording us. There is a flip side to this, and I don't know if you've seen this, but this is a spoof that was on the South Park. I don't know if that will play.
I am socializing, Marshard. I'm logged on to an MMORPG with people from all over the world and getting XP with my party using TeamSpeak.
Well, we'll certainly keep a lookout for that player and ban him from the network.
What?
You've been on your computer all weekend. Shouldn't you go out and socialize with your friends?
You can just hang outside in the sun all day passing the ball around. Or you can sit in your computer and do something bad.
Not now, Nelson. I just joined a big party of night elves and we're going to explore the Tower of the Swords together.
I think think what South Park is saying is that there is a flip side to this. That actually, everybody being stuck into their computers, playing, even if it's a game, even if it's a different kind of real-time space, there's something missing, there's something deficient. It's not quite the same as us being together. So what do we do about that? How do we think about it? So, that's spaces. Now, let's think about activities. Because I think the question is, yes, we can do things like World of Warcraft, if you're going to use World of Warcraft for education, or we can do things, certainly do things like Steam, but organising these things for teachers can be very difficult. It can be very challenging. So how do you make it easy for teachers to engage their students very easily in new kinds of activities? And what sort of activities can you do? I have to say, although this is a couple of years old, this is the best activity I've ever seen done over the internet. I don't know if anybody's seen the Eric Whittaker's virtual choir. Just hands up who's seen this? Yeah, one or two of you. I think this is wonderful. Eric Whittaker is a composer, and he wrote a piece of music which was designed to be sung by people who participated over the internet. They submitted their voices as video files, and he put them all together. And this is the result. So these are all the video files. I don't know if I can make that a bit bigger. All they saw was him conducting like that. And the sounds that you hear were submitted by each individual and put together by Eric Whittaker. And there they all are, all sitting in front of their webcams. I think it's amazing. One or two of them he liked the look of, so he gave them solo parts. Isn't that wonderful? It just shows you the power, particularly when you get artists involved in a really rich and imaginative way with education. You can do amazing things. The other thing I've got displayed here is something that we've been doing in iTech. And what we've been trying to do in iTech is we've been trying to make it much more easy for teachers to organise different kinds of activity. And I've got a link here, http tinyurl elearning Austria. If you type that in, for those of you who have got devices, I'm hoping that if you type that into your browser, you will be able to actually have a look. Let's see if it works on. You'll be able to have a look. There we are, that's what it does for me. Can I see if anybody else can see this? Can you just put your hands up if you can see it on your devices? Yes, excellent, this is good. Okay, now what you're actually looking at is our iTech App Store, and you can scroll down and see lots of different kinds of apps. I'm afraid you can't view them because you're not logged in, but I can show you what they look like. And we've made it very easy for teachers to create their own personal collections of apps that they can very easily drag in to their learning. And some of these are quite interesting. So I've got, for example, Let's just find an interesting one. This is an interesting one, a text-to-speech tool, which I can view. And this is a widget, this is a tool which I've taken from another site and put into our iTech App Store. And basically, I can type in something here and
Hello, Eisenstadt.
very good. I think I can change the language.
Hello, eisenstadt.
I think it's just said hello Eisenstadt in a French accent, but anyway. So, what I can also do is I can grab an embed code from this tool and I can let you all have a look at it through a little bit of magic. So I'm going to take you off the iTech App Store for a second, and I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you the text-to-speech editor. Now, hopefully, your devices have changed as well. Can I just see your hands if you're now looking at this?
I cannot open
If you can't open it, okay. If it doesn't work, then I apologise. Okay. I apologise if you can't see it. I think one or two people. Does it work from the back? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So what we've really done is try to create an easy way where you can coordinate activity. And in fact, I've just coordinated your activity because I've taken you off looking at the iTech App Store and I've just set you looking at something else. And if you all know through teaching with technology, one of the biggest problems is where do I click, where do I browse to, how do I navigate to such and such? Well, I've just done it for you. Go back to my... Okay, finally, and this is related, I want to talk about technology and organisation. What is technology doing to the way that we organise learning? Now, of course, on the left-hand side, we have a lesson plan. That's what we think we do as teachers. That's our organisation. First of all, we're going to, what do we have to do? This is all about Pearl Harbor, so we have to, I don't know, dress people up as Japanese bombers, or whatever it might be. But how can we get technology to help us coordinate activities? There are a number of things here. I'm going to show you some more in the iTech App Store in a minute, but I also want to raise your attention to an open source interactive whiteboard tool called Open-Sankore. I've got Open-Sankore running on my machine here, and I want to just show you this because it's interesting. If I can get to it. Now, how many of you use interactive whiteboards in your teaching? Just have a show of hands. Oh, virtually more than half of you. More than half of you. These things are, and how many of those who actually had their hands up, how many of those think interactive whiteboards are a good thing? Yeah, they seem quite cool. It's quite, I mean, it's powerful, isn't it, for me to have this giant projector behind me. It's like a visual equivalent of the microphone. What I can do with Open-Sankore is drop in all sorts of interactive tools. And I'm just going to drop one in here, which is an interactive demonstration of the inner workings of a cell. So I can be demonstrating the cell and I can say, okay, well, we can go and click on these bits. I know nothing about biology, so I don't know what any of this does. But there you see, I'm lost already. Okay, that's very interesting. But the key, really interesting thing is that this tool, available in the interactive whiteboard, is also available within our iTech App Store, within our iTech tool that I've just shown you, and it then becomes very easily available to in any environment. So I can actually say, I'll go back to my tool here. I'm going to take you, if you're still looking at that page, I'm just about to change it to the cell thing that you've just been looking at. I think I've put it in my tools. Maybe I haven't. Here it is. So there's my cell tool. I'm going to do exactly what I did before. So I'm going to take my code there, and I'm going to change your tools so that you can all look at the same thing. So for those of you who were looking at this a minute ago, hopefully your screen has now changed again, and you're looking at this. Can I just see if that's done the trick? Excellent. Okay. So this is a different way of coordinating activity. It's actually using the same kind of technologies as the online gaming that I was showing you. This is the real-time web. This is the communications which are not just going out to you, but are coming back to me, and it's all happening quite quickly. It's all, as soon as I change something, something changes for you. Now, find my presentation. I'm going to do another experiment with you to sort of finish off what I want to say, really. This is very experimental, and I'm going to ask you to just do a little test for me, first of all. So what I have to do is change the tool that you're looking at once more. And I've made a note of what I wanted to do. Oh, whilst I'm doing that, do you want to have a look? There's a little piano here which you might want to play with. This is another one from the iTech store. Just to show you how powerful this is and the range of tools that are available to us. So for those of you that this is working for, can you just give us a little sort of sound from the piano that I've just put up there? Oh dear, mine's a bit noisy. Fantastic. Right. Let's just go back and I'll change it again. Yes, I can hear some people playing with it. Okay, so I've changed your screen once more. Just going to change this. And hopefully, we have a few people. By the looks of it, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people logged into this. And if you can see a little text box here. If you type in a message in that text box, hopefully it will appear on my screen. Just a very quick message. I'm just hoping that that appears, maybe. Oh, yes, there we go. We've got hellos from somebody. Whoever wrote that, I don't know. Lovely. Please don't be rude. I'm going to move your activity on, and I'm going to ask you that you're going to see a button in a second. Please don't press the button just yet. Oops. Right, can you all see the button? Yes? Okay. That's good. This is another musical activity. Now, I was very excited to be invited to Eisenstadt because I have a musical background, and Joseph Haydn is one of my favourite composers. And it's like coming to the Salzburg of Haydn, really. It's fantastic. So I thought to finish off, we should take part in a very simple performance of the Surprise Symphony. But you are the surprise, or at least those of you who can actually see your screens. And it involves pressing that button to play you the beginning of the slow movement in Haydn's Surprise Symphony. And I will count you in, and when I say now, I want you to press your buttons. So here we go. Let's hope this works. Not yet. Oh, crumbs. 3, 2, 1, now! Lovely. You can keep on pressing them if you want. Okay. I'm just going. One of the great things about this technology is that I can stop you doing that. So hopefully your buttons will have disappeared now. Just think technically what's happening, because you are sending a signal from the tool that you're looking at, which is coming via the internet to my machine, which is making noise. It's not making noise on your machines. Now, this kind of interactivity is very interesting because it opens the way to all sorts of different kinds of interaction in all sorts of different kinds of spaces. So one of the things, for example, that I'm very interested in is using different kinds of spaces. Look, use a cinema. Have a documentary that your learners with their devices can interact with. Go into your local pub. Invite people to use these tools and hook up your local pub with robots and sounds and all sorts of things that can respond to those messages. And I think, although it's not quite like the singing, I think what's interesting is there is potential here for us to use technology in ways where we're not focused on the technology, we're focused on each other. And I suspect that that may be the most important thing in our educational experience, is not what we learn from books or from web pages or from textbooks, but what we learn about each other. And on that note, I'll stop. Thank you.